Hello everybody, your friend Edgar Eddie Fernandez on this video and podcast at the same time. So I'm the creator of the Experiential Knowledge Solution that helps companies to understand and optimize ideas, skills, and experiences of people to stop the people getting injured, reduce cost, and increase performance and production. Well, after the intro, so the topic of today is the 5 cultural transformation key performance indicators to excel the quality and safety of management systems. And before I start, let me tell you why I decided to make this video and podcast. There has been in my past videos actually and searching some information and about the quality assurance or CGMP programs in the pharmaceutical industry, medical devices, and food industry. Um, the same as the safety side, the numbers hasn't changed. Actually, the CGMP trends, it's a company that actually can keep you, updated. And what are the top 10 common cited citations, uh, um, from the FDA? Then actually they release a report that they call the top 10, the common CG, the top 10 CGMP citations on the fiscal year 2019, and those top 10 citations hasn't changed. I would say in no more in 10 years. So still we have people making manual hand when I say manual changes, so they are changing instructions by hand on the master batch records on the pharmaceutical industry, but that change is not reflected on the master batch record master procedure. The same people not I mean, the FDA has demonstrated during their audits that there are issues with some indicators or some instruments on the facilities, such as temperatures and thermometers, etc. That and then you see the readings of those of those temperatures the same. So what is changing? So what is the reason why now this indicator it's +5 degrees or +5 Fahrenheit or less and hasn't been investigated? The other common is CAPAs. So everybody goes to the corrective actions, but there are no preventive. So that means that you haven't reviewed the whole system to prevent the same occurrence happening in the future in a different aspect of your operation. That's to mention a few of them. Actually, there are 10 of those that report 10 top citations, and has each one has like a 5 root causes at least in general. That it's a very extensive report, but very interesting. It hasn't changed, and the same in safety. Injuries hasn't changed. The number hasn't changed since for 15 years. We have the top 10 injuries list that hasn't changed. The only has changed is the ranking on all of them, but still the number one is working at heights. It's false, sorry. That false is divided at working at heights and false at floor level. Hasn't changed, it's still the number one. Lockout, tagout. Isolation of hazardous energies is still there. Forklifts, etc. But but why is the reason why? This is not changing. That's something that I want to start explaining you the reason why. This is my opinion, and actually, um, there is a book actually they called Base Behavioral Safety: The Human Approach. This book it's current to our era. No matter what is artificial intelligence, we go to the digital transformation. You have very advanced technology, very technical. I mean, you have a very technical skilled people at your company. They have a lot of knowledge. Still, that book is really current to our day. No matter what is from the safety side, strongly recommend to people who is dedicated to the QA in the pharmaceutical, food, and the medical device industry to read this book because actually it's explained more than safety. It's how to manage, actually, how to transform your company into having an not a safety culture, is having insert safety in the whole management of the company. So, but also reading and seeing reports and articles from other industries, something that these experts and myself reading this material, and through my experience in some of the companies in some of the industries that I have worked, it's the question is, why are we still having the same issues for 10 years? And the conclusion that I got into, it's because we haven't inserted, or we haven't seen the human approach, or we haven't inserted the human approach to these management systems. We do it in the other way. So the question here is, what is important to transform organizations' culture in parallel with the market demands? And this is a very interesting question. Market demands is not only what your clients they wanted, it's only what the regulators wanted. So, such as the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, Health Canada if you're in Canada, or your governmental health agency, depending where you are located. But also Minister of Labor, or Secretary of Labor in the United States, OSHA in Mexico, and the U.S. Provincial Minister of Labor in Canada, etc. So there are demands from the market as well, and still we have these troubles. And so now, actually, you compare what is the demands of hiring new talent. Now, companies actually on the industries are requiring people to have soft skills. The hard skills is your technical skills, but they want soft skills that getting more and more um, relevant to this Industry 4.0 era. So, what is important to measure that in parallel with the market demands? The reason why it's because if we are demanding people coming through companies with top soft skills, the question here is, are you developing your people inside your company to have or to develop and to strain those soft skills? That's the question. And actually, another question that I have here is why we are failing to avoid Form 483s and reducing incidents. It's another question that we have. And the answer, actually, if we see it on these slides, it's the transformation that we want transformation. There is no doubt about it. The issue here is that we want the transformation coming from the outside. And let me explain this. Like I said, the market demands, such as regulators, such as your clients, is coming from the outside. It's a pressure that you have from the outside, and sometimes, in the case of the regulator, it's demands that you need to comply with it. That you don't have any options to do that. But that is not bringing transformation to your company. That's the way that you're gonna operate to satisfy that your market. But for a reason, we want that somebody from outside come with a model, with a new way of thinking, with new way of skills, and or shifting the paradigm from outside to have the transformation on top of the things that we have. Well, that is what the breaking with the chain is broken. Actually, the transformation is not coming from the outside. Your transformation is coming from the inside. And this is gonna be more relevant and in this era of the digital transformation and artificial intelligence. Um, so you're having the pressure from outside, but the innovation is coming from inside your company. It's not coming from the outside. So that's the reason why you're having these type of challenges in your company. So, okay, so now, okay, how the question here is how we're going to do that. So, well, first you need to we need to recognize that the transformation is coming from inside to outside. And what is that? It's very simple. Is we need to understand what needs we have. We need to understand our culture that we have. We need to understand and optimize ideas, skills, and experiences for the people that we have inside. So that's when the innovation, from the innovation, is going to come from. Next question: how I measure that transformation is very simple. The transformation actually comes from measuring 5 key performance indicators. And one of those performance indicators is one is creativity, the second is persuasion, the third is collaboration, and the fourth is adaptability, and the fifth is time management. So that's the measurements, the key transformational, the cultural transformation key performance indicators that we need to create in your company. What's gonna be the activities on those ones is something that you need to decide which ones you're gonna measure on their creativity, on their persuasion, on their collaboration, on their adaptability, and on their time management. Or you have those activities, you have identified those activities or assessed them, or have you haven't assessed them, you need to start doing that. But that depends actually. That's the reason why I'm not giving you specific examples, because it depends on what type of culture you have, what type of people you have, and what type of operations you have. That's one. The second, if you have trained your people on these soft skills. So back into the previous slide, it's so now we are asking somebody comes with those attributes to inside to from outside to the inside, but the inside of the company we don't have it. That's the challenge, and that's when the conflicts start, because we need to come from the inside to the outside. We need to start training our people, our talent that we have. That you have a very talented technical people with a lot of knowledge in QA, in ISOs, in ICH Q10s, Q9s, Q8s, Q7. If you are in the pharmaceutical, food, and medical device industry, but if you are on the manufacturing industry, you have people that are very experienced with ISOs, 9001, 40001, 45001, etc. But have you assessed your people inside? Have you assessed your people how implement projects, how implement programs? Your people that are able to collaborate, that are able to express ideas, that are able to take the leadership, no matter what in what position they are, to lead programs or to at least help you to lead part of the programs in a different levels. That's the thing we need to start assessing. That's the thing we need to start to creating, and that's the thing we need to start to measuring. So putting those activities to measure creativity, to measure persuasion, to measure collaboration, and to measure adaptability and task management. In other words, the thing that I'm trying to tell you here, we need to start creating the culture, not one, not three, four cultures that many times we are used to ask. For example, what is your safety culture? What is your quality culture? And other type of cultures. Well, that's another issue as well, because now you are putting all your people in different directions with different cultures. You need to create one actually, measuring with these transformational KPIs, and then from there you're gonna start revamping your quality programs, safety programs that they're gonna fit that culture. In other words, you're gonna start now putting the boundaries on those cultures that is gonna be the compliance, for example, compliance. So we need to comply. How and then you can ask me how I can do that. Well, but that's the thing that we need to start assessing what you have, what type of operations you have, what type of people you have, and what you want to achieve. Um, and then from them we move on. But it's something that I really recommend to start is to start creating activities and measuring those activities under these 5 groups to start pretty much building the foundation of your transformational culture and your innovation. And that's the thing that that I believe strongly that companies, if we start doing that, we can start solving problems like having not problems. We can start having successful FDA audits because you're gonna be able to have leaders on the floor in the pharmaceutical industry making sure that any change that is made on any master procedure for example, in a batch record, they're gonna make sure that it's gonna be reflected on the master procedure of the batch record. That's an example, for example, to give you one. Collaboration. So how many, for example, how many hazard assessments have you performed? Or I want to put you this example. This is a very good one on collaboration. So how many Kaizen bleeds you have performed in a year to reduce, to assess hazards, to reduce injuries, to predict, not to reduce, to predict injuries, to predict occurrences that can happen in the future. How can you avoid those occurrences in the future? That's collaboration. So how many projects, how many people attended, how many people actually give solutions, how many projects you have completed, and how many occurrences have appeared in the future, how many occurrences reappear again. So those type of indicators, you're going to have it there. And that's when you start building this type of you're going to start building this type of culture, and then you're going to be successful on those type of audits. Because think about it, it's very simple. You see the stats, why haven't changed? Why? And still we're asking how many cultures we have. You see the numbers of fatalities, lost time incidents, recordable incidents, they haven't changed in at least 10 years. The same with the top CNGP citations. I mean, in the pharmaceutical industry since 1996, the same citations, the same, haven't changed, and actually increased now. There is a problem, there is a problem, there is really an issue. When the FDA found this, obviously the FDA is a governmental agency. There are very technical auditors there, and they're gonna tell you, okay, you haven't done this, you haven't conducted investigations to determine on to prescribe CAPAs, corrective and preventive actions. So obviously they're gonna tell you that, but actually those governmental agencies are not stopping you or prohibiting you to do how to do it. It's only a boundary that you need to operate, and a demand from the market, right? It's a boundary that you need to operate to provide to manufacture a medication, to stop to avoid to avoid jeopardizing the safety of the patient that at the end is gonna consume your pill or your tablet. The same for the medical device. At the end, it's gonna be the hospital that is gonna using that device to measure blood pressure, for example, temperature of the patient. You need to operate on those boundaries. But how to make those boundaries successful is up to you. And I think establishing, having a human approach to the to these um, those demands, sorry, on those management systems is going to help you a lot. Not only in quality, it's going to help you in many aspects of compliance and innovation as well, because now you're going to be capable to innovate from inside, to adapt to adapt to other demands that's coming from the market. Well, that's the something that I wanted to share with you. Hopefully, you enjoy this video and podcast called the five organizational transformation key performance indicators to be successful on the FDA and safety audits as well. and prevent injuries and reduce or avoid forms 483 in the future for your company, and be success and you can be successful. For why not? So if you want to see more of my videos, you can go to this YouTube channel. You can go to my LinkedIn. Um, that is sufficient. You can go to my webpage, pharmachemicalsafety.com, or on my Facebook site, it is facebook.com/sufficient. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know your comments. Have an excellent day. Bye, your friend Eddie Fernandez. Bye.